You're listening best to edit out and enhance the sound a little bit, but as we know, it is my first year doing the show and I am self-producing, and that means I'm still learning and still getting better. I think some of those moments can add to the realness of the episode of how we were recording in a barn at the time. I don't think it took away at all from the quality of what we talked about in the interview. Jessie and Baily are so community-oriented and really taking the time to educate others and their clients to provide the best service possible, and I cannot wait for you to hear our conversation. So let's get into the episode. Hey, and welcome to the Educated Cowgirl podcast, hosted by yours truly. My name is Abby Carpenter, and I am a cowgirl and equestrian through and through. I started this podcast wanting to make more of an impact in the equine industry. That's why I am making it my mission to help promote the industry to the public through sharing my love for horses through education and bringing other experts and professionals onto the podcast with me to discuss important topics that impact the horse community. So whether you are a crazy horse lady like me, want to learn more about horses, or want to learn more about the industry, you've come to the right place. On this podcast, we will be talking about ownership, horsemanship, fitness, faith, breeds, and so much more. We believe that it doesn't matter what type of saddle you ride in or the breed of horse you may ride. We all contribute to this community to make it great, and that there is always something to learn from the back of your horse. So grab a coffee and get ready to take some notes, and let's get started. This is the Educated Cowgirl Podcast. All right, so oh my goodness, I'm so excited that we finally get to sit down and have this conversation, and our schedule's coordinated. But with that said, welcome to the Educated Cowgirl Podcast. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you, Abs. We're stoked to be here, and I'm sorry it's taken so long.
Yeah, this will be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, to start us off, can you introduce yourself to the listeners, what you do, and a fun fact about yourselves? And it can literally be anything.
I'm Jessie Wolfe. I'm here in Wellington, Colorado. I'm an equine therapist, kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. We ride and train horses and put on events, so pretty well involved in the equine industry in all aspects. And a fun fact, that's so hard, Abs. I'm going to say that I love dark chocolate.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. All right, Baily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Baily Afdhal. I'm from Wellington. Grew up within the rodeo and equine industry. We've been around horses my whole life. That's just the way we've always done it. And I've gotten the chance to work with Jessie for the past year or so, and I've really enjoyed it.
Nice. you have a fun fact for us?
Oh, yes. Well, I was going to say chocolate, too, but since Jessie took it, probably a fun fact about myself. I've never traveled outside the U.S., so I don't know if that's a little interesting.
Yeah,
But
that's a good one. That's a good one. You gotta get there, though.
yeah, no, definitely.
We'll have to change that.
All right, so I like to hear people's stories and their backgrounds and how it helps shape them to get to where they are with all the twists and turns that come with it. So I would love to hear about your background and how you got started with horses, how you grew up, and then how that led you to starting J-Heart Equine, and then what was your vision behind it?
So when I was a little tiny girl, my parents, we did a cow-calf operation and did custom farming. So we always had mama cows, and then I was pretty much sleeping in the back of a baler all night while mom was baling hay. So that's how we grew up. We really just had like ranch ponies. My mom was an endurance rider, so I didn't really know anything except get on and go, and I loved it. So we had that growing up, which I'm super thankful for, just that ranching lifestyle that my parents threw everything they had into. And then that led me to, when I was 9, I started showing range versatility stuff and loved it. And like my mom and dad bought me the nicest horse they could afford, and I did everything on him. He was a quarter horse that had some reining foundation, but I cut on him, I jumped him, I did English, I did showmanship, like literally everything that horse did it. And then that kind of led me into OSET. So we had an equestrian team in high school, and we got to do drill. We went to state every year. I did flags on that horse, cutting to everything, and we started team pitting and sorting a little bit. So Mom and I really got into that. My vision was always to be a veterinarian. That's what I was going to be forever. And there's a story where our vet growing up, he just an old soul, super tall guy, but just had a way with horses. And he kind of sat me down one time when we were dissecting a cow. That sounds terrible, but and he's just like, I think you'd be awesome at this, but just the lifestyle is really hard, and I didn't really get to spend a lot of time with my family. And he called his kids thing 1 and thing 2, which was funny, but I get the point behind it now. Like he just lived and breathed being a vet, and that's what's so amazing about their job. So going in out of high school, I graduated in 3 years, was still bent on being a vet. My senior year, ready for college, ready to go. And financially, that didn't look appeasing. I didn't really have any money to go to college. So changed my route a little bit, went to a community college, and then I went to trade schools instead. Equine dentistry being one of them, and that's what I started in. Love that through and through. It's an incredible team of people that we have, and the vets and everybody that we work with, that definitely gives my soul what it needs. With that, my mom was like, you need to do body work. The whole body is connected. Everything talks to itself. I think this would really benefit you. So I started pulse therapy with the soft tissue stuff. This was 6-7 years ago, and it wasn't as big as it is now, so it was really hard to introduce to people. Like, you need this machine. What it can do for you is unreal. The cellular exercise is something we didn't really dabble in a lot out here. So I did that and some, body work, chiropractic work, and so I just kind of kept adding to that. Kind of fast forward, Logan and I train horses and ride horses for sorting, and they're athletes, and I'm like, you're missing the big picture, Logan. Like, they need help, and if you want an NFL athlete to be at its best, they've got to feel their best. I think we feed Total Equine, we feed really good hay, but we've got to have that additional extra that they're missing. They got to be able to eat well, and they got to be able to move well.
Yes.
So that's really helped our business kind of take off, and I can really help some of these horses right out of the gate. And then about 3 years ago, I kept saying, I'm still missing something. I'm just missing something. When I go to these people and these horses have issues, I give them these exercises, but people are busy. They have other schedules. They're not maybe physically capable to do what I ask them to do. So that's where the aqua pacer came in. I searched and searched and searched, and bless my husband, he's never said no, because they're very expensive. And I was really thankful I found one in California, and he drove out there, bless his heart, and hauled that thing, dismantled it, hauled it here to Colorado, and put it up without me here, which was a blessing, so I didn't watch him put this very expensive unit in this barn. But that is, I feel like, the ticket I was missing. I can control the horse's movement, I can control the resistance in the pool, and in 2 weeks do more than you can do in a month of doing something, every day that I ask you to do.
Right.
So we introduced that a year and a half ago to Jay Hart. So we kind of have a little bit of everything. We're getting into the taping, we have the pulse therapy, chiro and dentistry, and the aqua pacer. So when Baily was getting out of college, I secretly kept asking her questions of what she's going to do with her life. And I'm like, I'm willing to take this big risk because I want you on my team. And that's a big thing, I think, too, is I feel like Baily and I are a team. She doesn't work for me. We work together on every horse. And she's getting a really good eye and learning movement and kind of where horses are struggling and how to get them to at their peak performance. So that's kind of my story. We do travel a lot, but we have a facility here that we were lucky enough to build. COVID kind of jump-started that. I took over this barn that's like 50 years old, and it's really cool. So it's been a dream. I didn't think that it would flourish as fast as it has. I'm really blessed to do a very large number of horses every year, and I haven't done it just full-time because I still support Logan and what he's doing, and I enjoy that aspect of our life, and I think it helps me not get burnt out as well, because I love it so much. I wouldn't tell people no, ever. So that's my story, and here we are today.
Yeah, no, that's great. I can see the passion in your eyes. But so Jessie touched on it a little bit. Baily, do you want to come in on your side of where you were at when you joined in with the team with Jay Hart, and how that factored in and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, I've always been around horses my whole life. My grandparents raised horses, and we were just always riding young horses. That's just how we grew up and everything, and rodeoing and everything. And when I was in high school, one of the horses that I ran, he was one that just always needed worked on. There was just something about him. He just tried so hard and used himself so hard. We were just always having to get stuff worked on for him. And so I became really interested in understanding the mechanics of the body, and kind of when I feel a horse, kind of shouldering into a turn, or they're wanting to pop out of their turn, maybe that's not necessarily them being bad, we'll kind of look at the mechanics of it and try and understand that as well. And so then kind of when we got back up here in Wellington, Jessie started working on my horses for me, and I'd leave early from school and come down here early in the morning so that I could get them done on the way to the rodeos. And so, I was always interested in it, and before college, I got certified in therapeutic massage and everything. Just kind of jump-started it, got an idea of the anatomy and everything, and I've really enjoyed doing that. And Jessie's like, what do you want to do with your life? And it was perfect timing, because I just went to a 2-year college, got a couple associate degrees and everything, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I've always wanted to stay in the equine industry, an office job, 9 to 5 is not really my thing. And so when she asked me about working with her with the pool and everything, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I couldn't ask for anything better. And still to this day, I love every minute of it, and learning everything day to day. You just never know what you're gonna learn and come across, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, no, I love that. The unpredictability of our industry can make it exciting. It can make it challenging, but it can also make it really exciting. So
exactly.
I love that. So like I mentioned, I can just see the passion in both of your eyes for this business, and I think that can be very inspiring for anyone, regardless of what business that they want to start in this industry. And it shines through with every horse that you work with, whether it's with their teeth or in the pool or with pulse, chiropractic, whatever. And you put your whole heart into every horse that comes into your barn. What and or who inspires you every day, especially on the harder days?
Ooh, man, that's a good one, Abs. You're gonna get me emotional.
You can take your time, no worries.
I don't know. There's probably a couple people. I'm a softie, so I would probably say Logan. Yeah. No matter what, he's always like, things could be worse. Mm-hmm. We are so blessed to do what we do day in and day out. Yeah. Like Bill said, we don't have the 9 to 5. We have the 24/7, I say. Yeah. But I wouldn't change any of that at all. And, one thing he always says is, you can always get better, no matter what. And every day I think I try and have that in perspective of I get to work with horses every day, and I love them with all of my heart. Right. I sold out to go to school. So I had 2 horses, and I sold them to pay for school. And on the way to school, I stopped and bought one because I just couldn't imagine not. And I called my mom and said, I really hope that you have 2 months to take care of this horse because I need you to. And she's like, okay. So I've never, I guess for 2 weeks of my life, I've never not had a horse. And that, I think it's maybe in my blood, in my veins. God's purpose for me, hopefully, is to help horses and help the people with them. And the connections that they've brought are, untouchable. I told somebody the other day, it's incredible that no matter anywhere in this country, I could call somebody to help or whatever the case may be, and that's because of all the connections that horses have brought us. And I think the biggest thing for me is, a client calling and or texting and just saying, hey, so-and-so is doing so much better. He quit doing A, B, and C. Like, he's back to himself. Like, thank you so much. And that's what really keeps me going. There is the cases, too, that are difficult, and we can't figure out why, or maybe he almost got worse. But then that pushes me to try and figure out, okay, are we missing something? Do we not see the big picture? And that's why it's been really awesome to have Baily a part of the team, because it's another set of eyes, another perspective, another whole general discipline background, coming from the rodeo world, just how these horses need to be and what they need to perform. So I'm going to go with Logan for sure. Don't tell him or show him this podcast. But and then another one would be my mom. My parents got divorced young, and I never went without. She's always pushing me to be better. She's the one that pushed me to go to school and get through school. When I was like, there's no way I can remember all of this terminology and stuff. And, I'd call her. She's like, you can do it. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Yeah. So those 2 probably are my heroes in a sense. So, yeah.
That's perfect.
That support system is key. My sisters tease me a little bit more often when I call my mom. But, she's like, I'm not telling this because you're my daughter.
Right, yeah. I always know where my mom stands. It's always black and white, and she's like almost too to the point, but I am appreciative of that because I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Is there anyone or anything maybe for you?
Yeah, I would honestly just say, my family. Growing up and everything, we lived really close to my grandparents, and so horses were out there, and so we just always spent time with them and around the foals and everything. And just my grandpa and my dad, just watching him work with those horses every day. And my dad is an incredible horseman. I really hope one day to be like him. The patience that he has is something that I hope to tap into, and just having a good understanding of that at a young age and stuff has really helped me. And, you know, competing and stuff, I love competing on young horses. That's what we've always done. And I've always had that support from them to kind of help me get through those things. And two, you know, like kind of Jessie touched on, like their understanding of, you know, I didn't want to go to college for a master's degree and, you know, this really immaculate thing. And they've supported me on that. And my whole life, even since I was like 10 years old, I've always worked for somebody just riding horses. And the stories I have with Kelly, man, she really did a lot for me in my life. And so I think just everybody around me always pushing me and just kind of helping me stay on the straight and narrow. And, you know, when we have the low times in our lives or we just need that little extra bit of support, my family's always been there. And honestly, like just seeing the work ethic from Jessie and Logan and my husband, even just every day we're just always working. And it's something that we don't like go to work for a job. We go to work because that's what we really enjoy. Yeah. And I think that's something that's like very, very true for all of us. You know, like my husband builds bits and spurs, and so he's in the shop and he's always learning, and that's just what he does. And so I think just surrounding myself with, you know, this joint community that I have, I think is a huge blessing for me, and it has just really done a lot for me.
I love that. I love that all so much. So something else that's also amazing is your willingness to step beyond into any job. Like, you're willing to, if a horse needs it done, you'll do it. Like, if they need their stall cleaned, you'll do it. Like, and I think that's something that's very inspiring because it means that you take the horse's health and well-being first, above your pride, and above like, oh, I only pulse. I don't do that. I can let someone else do it. But like, and I think that's a lot of people could learn from starting a business is sometimes you're not gonna like go work for a trainer and they're not gonna automatically put you on their best horse. Like they need to know they can trust you.
Yeah.
But and then another point with that is like, and what you touched on a little bit is running a business can also be really tough, and especially a service-based one. So at the start of the business, what risks or struggles did you have to overcome, and what have you found to be the most beneficial to support your business through those risks, not only to keep clients coming back, but to help bring new ones in?
I would say a couple things. You know, I felt like I built a relationship with most of my customers. You know, it is about helping their horse, but that hour or however long I'm with that animal, it's, you listen to people's stories and you get to know them. You know, they kind of become, I'm going to say, your family. And yes, you know, the horse initiates that, but we come together we all have this passion to help these animals and have them in our lives. So I think building that relationship and being very honest with people when maybe it's out of my realm of knowledge or, you know, I couldn't help that animal. I think that was a struggle. Sometimes I'd come home and be like, you know, Logan, I don't know if I helped that horse. There's something more to it. I'm missing something, like trying to just look at the whole picture all of the time. And I will come home when I'm driving, think of the horses that, you know, did I miss something? Did I give it my all, 100%? I think I beat myself up a lot, or maybe push myself harder out of the get-go than most. I would hope I can say that. And the other thing is just the honesty with people, but also being there to just answer their phone call sometimes and go over questions. I get a lot of videos or just these long texts about my opinion, and I just give them my educated, you know, answer to what they're asking. And so I think that has made people feel like I'm accessible and I'm I'm there for them, whether it's just like, their horse has a cut and how do they wrap it up. We're on that kind of a level of relationship. With that, I think just being honest and having that relationship helps get over those obstacles when times are tough, or when the horse, maybe they died or they broke a leg or they had to go have this surgery and didn't make it. We can talk about it, and then from that we move on to their next horse. And I have just kept the same clientele for, I'm going on 8 years now, and so I kind of cater to them, and I haven't been expanding because I don't want to get so spread thin more than I already am, so I can't have that with each of my clients.
No, that's great. Having that honest relationship of like, I can't help you, but here's a vet that can help you.
Yes, exactly. Or somebody that deals with that day in and day out, or let's go get a second opinion. I'm not above any other chiropractor, dentist. I'm not above anybody. We are all a team. And I love, I was at an event a month ago, and another lady with the Aquapacer was like, can you tell me what you do for this? We had a conversation about it, and she's like, oh, it's just so nice to be able to bounce ideas off somebody else. I'm like, yeah, me and Baily feel the same way. We've had a couple people come in that want to learn more, and we just tell them what we've learned, and we've learned a ton from them. So the community of knowledge is super important, and I've always, if people go elsewhere, and I've had them for a while, I don't get upset about that, because new hands, new eyes, new ideas could be what really help that animal. And I'm not opposed to that in any way. I never try and take it personal. That's a big thing, probably. For every business owner getting started, the fine line of business versus, taking things to the extreme.
Yeah, no. And like Christy Marie Jones, the equine, I heard this from her first. She says community over competition, which is so important. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be successful.
Yes.
And I think there'll be levels within that success, and that just depends on the individual, but we all have to work together.
Yes, exactly. So, and you mentioned this in the beginning, but when you started the therapies and everything, they were relatively new at the time. But as the years have gone by, like, they're starting to grow. Like, I'm seeing there's so many right now.
Yes.
So where do you see these types of therapies trending now and into the future in the industry?
I think people realize the benefit. Now, whether that's, your beamer blankets, your AccuScope, your Pulse, your MagnaWave, all of those modalities, to taping, to massage therapy. I mean, the horse nose to tail can have every different type of modality done. And I think it's changing the performance world. I really stress to people, Logan and I can swim our good horses, our 3 that are probably going to be lifers with us. They don't really need trained anymore, but they have to be conditioned and in shape to hold up to our sport.
Yes.
And that's been a game changer for us. I think that happens with a lot of people in their downtime, or they're not showing. They can keep these horses conditioned and not risk having injuries because of that. And we can do it during the winter. We have a heated barn that's insulated, so we can go year-round, and that's really beneficial. I think they all correlate with each other, and so people have realized that, and everyone's kind of diving into it, seeing that they can have a spot in this industry, whether it's little bitty to a full-blown trainer or running, a world show. Everybody has a spot.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think that's spot on. Like, because people are realizing the benefits. I see it on Instagram all the time. People sharing about the amazing work that their horses have gone through. So, running J-Heart, as we've mentioned, is a full-time job within itself. But being the overachiever you are also involved with Logan, your husband, in Western States Productions, with promoting sortings in the Western states like Oregon and California and Arizona and stuff like that. Can you just talk a little bit about the decisions that led to starting WSP? And then did you just want to further promote sorting in that area of the country, or just talk on it a little bit?
So Logan graduated from CSU, 5-year mechanical engineering, top of his class. I'm going to say he's a little bit of a nerd, and he loved it because it was a challenge. He thoroughly enjoyed school. So when he got out of school, his dad was kind of brainstorming how we're going to full-time plug him into the sorting world, and he kind of came up with vamping up the western United States. And I'm from Oregon, born and raised in Central Oregon, and so I kind of knew a lot of people out there that I used to compete with, and granted I was a little girl, but not too long ago. And so we set out to vamp it up, and we knew it was going to be difficult. There wasn't maybe the best taste in everybody's mouths for several reasons, and they just hadn't had a consistent producer out there. So with that goal in mind, Logan and I went into it with wanting to produce the best quality events that you could come to any of our events in any state and you would know what you're getting. We start on time, we run very efficient. We have, the best cattle that we can find. We have a great crew and staff that come in and just run this top-notch event. And so at first, it was brutal. I think we had like 150, 200 teams, and we're losing money right and left. But with every business, we're like, that's not the point. The point is to get in front of people, tell them how amazing RSNC is, and give them this product that they can count on. And so we started that in 2017 a little bit. He graduated in 18, then we just went full out. So we got a truck and trailer and probably put 150,000 miles on it a year, and we're doing it. And now it's grown into, we have probably the second largest event of the year. Our finals in Reno, we're right at 2,500 teams, and we paid out over $250,000 this year. And that, that's, I'm going to say it's me and Logan, but it's the WSP crew that has made that such a success. We're going on our 6th year, and we've kind of blown it up again. People are excited about it. New producers have come in, and old producers have wanted to jump back on board. So I think we kind of nurtured that, and now it's this awesome thing, and we've kind of let Tanner step in, and he's taking over some shows and kind of doing the same thing. They keep asking us about going out east, so ESP, I don't know, it might be a thing, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's been a huge blessing as well. The people that we've met from that only aid in every other business that we do, and they've become family. And we love going out there and being like, are you coming back next year? Do you have your date set up? We're like, oh yeah, yep, we're doing it. So we're doing it.
No, and for me, it's been great watching it just everywhere.
Thank you.
So, what do you see in the future besides a potential ESP? But where do you see it? Where do you want to see it grow?
So that's a little bit of a tricky question at this point in time. Not a lot of people know, but it is out there that Equine Network has purchased RSNC. And so, we're a little bit nervous because this has been in the family and since it started in 2007. But this network of people and what they have their hands in, it should explode the industry even more. They came to the finals and were like, this is a diamond in the rut, and I can't believe, we don't know about it. And so I think that company is going to take it to a whole nother level. They're in front of a lot more people and have the marketing. Yeah, the marketing ability we've always felt like we lack in. Bales and I were just talking about the other day, we really should have gone to social media, networking school, because we kind of struggle in that and how you do that. So Equine Network will be a phenomenal leader in that, and with Logan being president of that and having a boss, That's going to kind of change things a little bit, but I think we're going to keep the same events. Hopefully we can get some more sponsors because of the growth that we've had, and we can add more money. I think people really like that added money, higher stakes, higher payout kind of deal. And we offer a little bit at every event, so you kind of get every spectrum of contestant, whether I want to just pay the $30 entry fee and just ride with a few of my buddies, or I want to go pay the high stakes, high reward. We have that. And I love that because we cater to more people. But we're really focused on the new people as well, bringing in those new members. The first time somebody wins a buckle, that smile and that you're like they're hooked because the sensation, the adrenaline rush, you can just see it. Yes. And I really kind of live for that too. I think Western states will keep expanding. I hope we get to 3,000 teams at our finals and we pay out $500,000 or more. And that'll just take some time. Sponsors maybe just, getting to that level. So I see it still going, and with Tanner on board to take over some events, that'll be just perfect.
We're almost in the East with his shows in Missouri.
Yeah, he needs to do some more, but I think, and he wants to, and Tanner's phenomenal at what he does. He can do everything. Yeah. And so maybe having that avenue will help as well.
Yeah, no, that's all so great, and so excited for everything with that, because that's something that I know I was hooked to when I first started sorting, is that community. Anyone feels like they belong.
Yes.
The day they're there. Especially with Logan, because he introduces himself to everyone.
Literally, oh yes.
But with the future, going back to J-Heart, where do you see J-Heart in the next 5 years? Do you want to expand? Do you want to do clinics? What do you see?
Here recently, I've been wanting to do some more events, whether that's just pulsing or just getting in front of people more. And I haven't really wanted to do that in the past. No particular reason, just haven't really thought about that. I think because when I do go to shows or events, I want to focus on that. I've kind of kept them really separate. But I think Baily would be a great addition to that. And maybe that would get us in front of some new people as well. I feel like the goal with the Aqua Pacer is to have a set of clients that want to come back to condition their horses, and new ones with rehab, maybe getting in with some of the CSU or some surgery places to have those types of horses too. We really focus on just fitness, but I think there is that lack of the rehab side. And so we've kind of headed that direction a little bit and wanting to figure out what's best and what other people are doing. We have had several this year, either the same injury or some new ones, and that's been really good development growth on how to bring those horses back properly so that we're still competing on them, in 6 months. What about you, Vales? Do you have any goals?
I think you touched on a lot. I think it's been a lot of fun because, we have had a lot of, friends come through where I've really gotten to meet a lot of the sorting clients and stuff and really gotten to know those people. And every time you bring a horse into the pool, it's always something different. We'll have one horse come in that they're competing, they're working great, and we find just little things to help them out in the pool. They go back to competing and they're like, oh my gosh, I've struggled with collection or something like that. And it's helped them tremendously. And I think something that is going to be really, really cool is, like Jessie said, kind of the continual clients coming in and stuff. But I really like exploring that and kind of helping them understand some of those things that they're feeling, when they're competing and stuff, and kind of understand what's going on. And to where, the pool is going to help them and stuff, and they can see that firsthand, When when a horse is in the pool and I change the water depths or I change the speed, we had a few ladies come up and just kind of hung out with us for a couple days and kind of learned, just kind of what we do and everything. And it was really cool for us to see their reactions of it. And, it's something that I'll sit there and I'll watch them in the pool and I'm like, oh yeah, they're kind of struggling on this one side or something, but seeing those other people's reactions and kind of their understanding of oh my gosh, this is an immediate response. This is what I've been noticing. that's, but it's kind of in a black and white right in front of you. Whereas like while you're riding, you can just kind of feel that, but you can't really see what's going on. And so I think it's something that it really has exploded, and I think it's going to continue to explode. And I think it's great because, I think just everybody being able to better their understanding of their horse and everything. And I've gotten to go with Jessie to some of the colleges and stuff, and we were working on horses and just kind of tapping into that, and I was able to talk about the pulse for one of their classes, and just kind of seeing like their understanding and their questions that they've had and stuff, and kind of seeing those like aha moments.
Yes.
I think that's been really, really fun. And so I think just the overall education and understanding of what these athletes are going through and how they're performing and stuff, I think it's just going to grow. And I really enjoyed, like I said, seeing their owners and stuff, when it clicks and they have that understanding and stuff. I think that's huge, and I think that's something that's just gonna grow from here.
Yeah, no, I think the education aspect is so key, because like especially with new people, for the industry as well, like just having that knowledge so they better understand our industry and what we go through to let these horses perform at their best. So,
and even like my horses or like Jessie's horses and stuff, I think one of mine is, she's looking great, she's looking awesome, and then I put her in the pool and I'm like, Jessie, you gotta see this, like this is not good, like we gotta fix something here. And so yeah, I agree, just the education of everything I think is huge.
yeah. Another topic that I'm just curious for your thoughts on, what is a topic you're passionate about in the equine industry that you feel people don't know much about or aren't talking about?
I'm going to say one thing that comes to mind, and maybe it's because I've kind of wanted to dabble a bit more into it, is nutrition. I get clients in, and myself included, I used to just throw all these things at them, and I don't really know why. It's because somebody told me I should do it. But I think that's something we lack, or that's something I feel like I lack some knowledge in, as far as, what is the best thing for a variety of horses. We have 20 some horses here on the place at all times. Well, every horse is different, just like me and you. I have stomach issues from eating spicy food. You don't, all the things with that. I think that's something I would like to pursue more in. I feel like my knowledge is basic, and I feel like that we can make them feel great and muscle up great and have the lung capacity that they need to perform. But then if they're not eating the right things and having the best nutrition, that's maybe something, they're lacking in, and that's what we're missing as the whole package. So that would be something that I would be interested in.
Yeah, nutrition's definitely, I'm always kind of a geek about that stuff. But, but yeah. Did you want to add anything, Baily?
I think that's a really important topic that Jessie hit on and stuff, and I think that's something that kind of shines through, with the client, the horses and stuff, where, we'll go back and forth. A friend of mine and stuff, we were just having the conversation the other day about like ulcers and stuff. There's 1,000 different supplements on the market, but what works, or herbal versus non-herbal and everything like that. So I think nutrition is huge and everything, and I think just another topic, just from my background and stuff, just like the true body mechanics of how a horse works, maybe, just kind of understanding, when a horse is collected versus not collected and stuff. And that's something that we can really show in the pool and everything. And I think a lot of people nowadays are really getting to that point of that understanding and stuff. And I think that is just going to continue to grow. But that's just something I see on a day-to-day basis, or we'll be talking and stuff. Or you can see a horse coming in where, they're really fit and everything, but they're just lacking a little bit in their core or their top line or something like that. And so I think just that knowledge and the fundamental mechanics and stuff of it.
I love that, and they both play into each other, like nutrition and then like their fitness and conditioning and all that. So good. So question. Do you have any final nuggets of advice for anyone listening who might be wanting to start a business in therapy or any type of equine business?
I tell people that, are looking into any aspect of it, is that if you live and breathe it and it is your passion, go for it. You do have to love it. I think, it's cold today, but Baily's been out here since, 9 o'clock. There's days that it's hot. There's days that things break. There's things where a horse becomes sick and it's been fine. There's all the aspects. But if you truly love it, I think you'll flourish in it. Not saying that you have to have a passion behind every business, but that's what I see being successful. And with that, just having that team with you. I'm always for somebody going and wanting to get certified or learning more, because I don't think you can have enough education. The more you know, the better, whether it's things not to do or to do. And so I think just adding anything in your pocket is great.
Yeah.
I just think if you really, really want it, the options are limitless. Yeah. And the sky's the limit, truthfully. Yes. I never in my wildest dreams pictured I would have something like this. Yeah. And so that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think one thing for me, I'm kind of on the everyday side of things. I've become more involved, but I'm just kind of seeing the current. And the pool and stuff, we're still getting going and everything. But one thing for me that has really helped is, I guess I'm kind of not result driven, but I really like seeing these horses, like the transformations. We're out here every day. Some horses, I gotta remember to give them supplements, or just do the things for them, and be out here. If it's nice on a Saturday, I'm gonna throw them out on the walker and let them get some sunshine. So it is a lot of time. It's not just the 5 days a week, your normal hours and stuff. And like Jessie said, when you really have a passion for it and stuff, I think that's easy for somebody to do. You don't feel forced to go do it. But I think for me and stuff, like the winter time, not a fan of the colds. I love staying in this heated barn. But yeah, when a horse goes home and I'm like, I see our before and after pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, that is so cool that this horse has transformed into doing this, and just seeing all those steps. And so kind of that result, I guess, if you'll say, or when we give them back to the owner and the owner's been able to ride and they're like, oh my gosh, this feels incredible. We had one horse go home and struggling with stops and leads and everything, and then they were able to get it figured out. And for